Hey, so listen, is it true that every single diet you tried kinda tells you the same thing? You know, eat clean, follow the path, and be perfect? I mean, shit, if you take a look around, most fitness influencers nowadays are trying to sell you that perfect life or routine. And I mean, it works for about a week or two, unless you're a robot. And then you eat a chocolate bar, you feel like shit, and you think you've ruined everything. I know, because I've been there multiple times, and perfect never really worked. Not once. So I'm now 3 weeks into my new diet. I'm still eating quite a lot of junk food, but I'm still losing weight. So today I want to break down why perfect diets are a myth, why trying to be perfect is probably the reason you keep failing, and what I think you should do instead. Hey there, I'm Alex, and I'm 3 weeks into a promise I made to myself to lose 30 kilos in 12 months. I'm using this channel to document everything with no filters and no bullshit. So let's start this video by talking about the problem itself. Like, why do all these diets fail most of the time, right? And I truly believe that for the most part is because of this 0 to 100 mentality. And that's specifically a problem I have with fitness YouTube, because most of the creators present this weight loss journey, this weight loss process as clean and linear. But I truly believe that we should stop looking at this journey like that, at this process like that, because if you look at the trend lines, most trend lines are not linear from the bottom to the top, or from, the top to the bottom. They will always have these ups and downs. And that's exactly how a weight loss journey should look like as well. Because if you go from 0 to 100 and try to make it as perfect as possible, you're gonna slip at some point, and then you're gonna have guilt, and then you're gonna just repeat that cycle. So the way I see it, at least, the actual problem is this expectation of perfection, not the lack of discipline. So let's take my case as an example, because I've actually been going regularly to the gym for the past 3 years now. Now, most people would think that that's the hardest part of this journey. It's not. It's just proof that what you do in the kitchen matters most. But even though I did manage to lose 4 kilograms in 3 weeks now, the truth is about a third of my calories still come from junk food. But at least for me, and I believe that this is actually true for the majority of people, the diet that's supposed to be easy is actually the hardest part. So the way I see it, that only proves that there's a gap between effort and execution. Because even though I did manage to lose this weight, it came with imperfect nutrition, right? And that's only proof that a deficit is actually all it matters in order to lose weight. But it's still not optimal, to be honest, because I'm still eating much less protein than my initial goal, and I do not get enough sleep, not nearly enough sleep, to be honest. And so I had to realize that this is actually a transition phase, not the final state. I am losing weight, which means that I am essentially on the right track, but it's only by being 70% perfect with my diet and all my habits around it. And this transition phase is actually extremely important to get comfortable with. But why is this so important to acknowledge, right? And I think it's because you know that you're gonna fuck up. I mean, even if you don't know, I'm telling you, you're gonna fuck up. So you have to understand that perfection doesn't really exist, because at some point you're gonna have a chocolate bar or something, and you're gonna feel guilty, and that chocolate bar actually has the potential to transform into a full night of binge eating. And then you're gonna think, fuck it, I already ruined today, and that's gonna be the voice that's gonna make you ruin tomorrow as well. And then it's just gonna be downhill after that, and you're just gonna have to repeat this cycle over and over and over again. And talking about these imperfections, you also have to realize that you also have a social life, and you can actually push away those people whether you like it or not, and it's gonna be your friends or your family, because you can't keep declining their dinner offers or going out for a drink in the city. And so the real skill here is realizing that this is not perfect, and that tomorrow I'm gonna have to get back on track. Yeah, you might have fucked up today, but that's fine. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just, make sure that tomorrow you're gonna be back on track. That's actually the real skill that you can build here, is getting back on track every single time. Let's take my example once again, because I've had a birthday this week and I actually ate so much pizza that night that I almost felt sick. But I really love pizza so fucking much, and I really wanted to have it for my birthday, because I knew that the next day I'm gonna be back on track, no matter what. But that's just one thing, because if I look at my daily intake for the past 3 weeks since I started this, about 1/3 of those are still coming from eating sweets, or you know what they call bad food. And despite all of that, the scale still went down, just the way I intended it to. So that's essentially what real progress looks like. It's not a highlight reel, it's not a before and after, it's just, you know, the messy truth. So if you only want to have one takeaway from this video, make it this one. You don't go from 0 to 100, you go from 0 to 60 or 70 and hold it there. Because there's gonna be a transition period, whether you like it or not. And that's actually where most people fail. They quit because they think the mess means failure. It doesn't. It just means you're human. So based on all my experiences from the past, and especially from the past 3 weeks, here's what I would recommend you do. First, understand that you don't have to overcomplicate things. Things are actually quite easy. You just have to start. So start by setting a specific goal with numbers. So not just lose weight, but lose an X amount of kilos or pounds. Then just go online and find a calorie calculator and be brutally honest with those inputs, because that's how you're gonna get your maintenance calories. Then take away 500 to 1000 calories from that number, depending on how aggressive you want to go with it. And then make sure you're gonna average that over 1 week. So don't be specific necessarily for 1 day, but do it for 1 week. Then just go to your favorite online or offline, you know, Chinese shop and get one of those kitchen scales, the cheapest one you can get, because you're gonna have to start counting calories. Then once again, you're gonna have to be brutally honest with what you put in your mouth. And then as an extra small step, I recommend you add 2, maybe 3,000 steps a day extra. And once again, you're gonna have to do a weekly average on that one as well, so you don't have to be strict on each and every day. And I'm actually mentioning this small addition because it's really, really important. It's essentially a cheat code to dieting, to be honest. I'm talking about adding the extra steps, you know, and I don't actually recommend doing too much, because you're gonna give up at some point. So just, you know, baby steps, quite literally. Then once again, you're gonna have to accept this transition. You're gonna fuck up, you're not gonna be perfect, but what does matter is an average over 12 months. So even if you lose half of the weight, it's still a win in my book. And honestly, just allow yourself a fucking break every now and then. For me, for example, that means having a cheat day, or essentially a cheat meal every 10th day. And I need this to keep me sane and on track. And once again, you have to understand that you're human. Shit just happens sometimes. Just make sure you're gonna be back on track the next day. That's the one skill that actually matters here, that actually makes a difference. So I believe that you can do this. You can actually do anything if you accept failure as a part of the process, as a necessary part of the process. The goal in the first few weeks or months is just to reduce failing as much as possible. You're gonna have time to make it perfect, or you know, close to perfect. You're gonna have time to adjust. So right now, I want you to believe in yourself too. Do we have a deal? Cool, now go get it, tiger. But before you go, I want to actually hear from you. What's the one thing in your diet that you keep beating yourself up about? Drop it in the comments, please. I read and reply to every single one of those. And if this is the kind of honesty you want more of, please consider subscribing. It helps. And talking about that, I do want to thank each and every single one of you 13 beautiful superstars for doing so. It means a lot, and I mean it. Thank you. So I'm gonna post every single Monday, documenting this whole process, and you're gonna see it all with the ups and downs and with no filters. Also, if you want more real talk on this whole being fat subject, I actually dedicated a whole video about it last week. Make sure you go watch that, because people seem to have liked it. And remember, it's not that serious.